Well, hello, welcome to a little bit of reading of Plato. I'm going to just give a rough reading through and a rough translation of Plato's work, the Crito. Crito was one of Socrates' oldest and dearest friends. He stood surety for him at his trial, and he appears to have been quite well off. The scene here is in the prison just before daybreak. So Socrates has been condemned to death, and he's in the prison, and he's waiting for the sentence of death to be undertaken. At that stage there was a holy ship sent off to Delos, and during the time it was going to Delos and back, it was not lawful for them to put any prisoner to death. So Socrates is waiting for the ship to return. And the time of day, it's early in the morning, and Crito is here to warn Socrates that this ship is on its way back from Delos and will arrive today. So Socrates begins, tenid cade affixai o Criton, ou proi etiestin. Why, tenid cade, at this time, affixai, have you arrived? This is from the verb affixneomai. So why have you arrived at this time, O Criton? ou proi etiestin. So expecting the answer yes, and surely it is still very early. Crito replies, panu menu, and it certainly is. Socrates, penica malista. Idiomatic here, when especially. So another would say probably about what time of day is it? Orthos bathos, literally a deep pre-dawn. So we would just say it's very early. Thalmasdo hopos e thelesis soi hotu desmoteriu fulax hupakusai. So I'm amazed, Hoppos, that the fulax, the guard of the desmoterion, of the prison, was willing, hupakusai, well, to listen, or perhaps to answer the door in this context here. In later Greek, hupakuo can mean to obey, but here it's just to respond, perhaps, to answer the door. Sunethes edi moestin, o Socrates, dia top holakis durophotan, kai tik kai eu egetetai hup emu. So, Crito replies, there is now a custom for me. So, an agreement, I should say, sunethes, agreement. So there is then an agreement with me, O Socrates. Now, dia top goes with the infinitive fortan, to frequent. So because I have frequently come here, I've oftentimes frequented here. Kai te, kai euegetetai hup emu. Now, a euergetes is a benefactor. The point being here that he's paid him off. He's got a lot of money, this guy Crito, and he's given the fulax, the guard, some sort of tip to let him in. And so it says, and in some way also he has benefited from me. In other words, I've given him some money, I've paid him a tip, or he has received something good from me. Socrates, arti de herkes e palai, and this is from Heiko. Did you come now, or palai, or some time ago? Epiekos palai. Epiekos, reasonably, palai, a long time ago. So we translate that as some little time or a fair while ago. Etapos ukiuthus ex ergeras me alasige parakathesai. And then, how did you not wake me up immediately, but you sat sige in silence? So why was it that you didn't wake me up immediately, but you've sat there in silence? And Crito gives the reply, Umaton dia, O Socrates, udan autus ethelon en tosauto te agupniai, kai lupe enai, ala kai supalai thamazdo, aisthenominos hos hedeos kathiudes, kai epitedes se uk egeron hinahos hekista diages. No, by Zeus, O Socrates. Now, the athelon is the past tense from thelo, so I myself would. So it's we've got thelo plus an an here. So I would wish that I myself not to be in such sleeplessness. So perhaps in a state of sleeplessness, kailupe, and grief. So it's almost would that I were not in such a state of sleeplessness and grief, but it's literally I would wish that, nor would I wish myself to be in such state of sleeplessness and grief. Ala kai su palai thalmazdo, but I have been amazed at you for quite some time, aisthenominos, perceiving how you are sleeping hadeos, so sweetly, so pleasantly. Kai epidetes se uk egeron hinahos hedis to diages. Epitetes is an adverb, and purposely, so on purpose, I did not wake you up. Hina, in order that, now diago is to spend one's day, to spend one's time, so that you might spend the time, hedesta, most sweetly, so most pleasantly. So I purposely didn't wake you up so that you could spend your time most pleasantly. Kai polakis mende se kai proteron en pantito bio eodaimonissa tu tropu. And oftentimes, we're going to mend here, it's balanced by the debt down here. So oftentimes, in fact, also previously in your whole life, Edamonisa, so literally I counted you happy for your manner, for your way of life. It's a genitive of cause here. So previously, so oftentimes previously, even previously in all of your life, I've counted you, I thought you happy in your disposition. Polydemales da ente nun parastose sumfera hos radios auten kai praos veres. But especially, but very much especially, in your, literally in your now established disaster. So in your present predicament, we might say here, to try and put all these, it's hard to get all of the senses here in one sentence in English, in one clause in English. So it's the situation you now find yourself in. Hos radios, how easily, kai praos, and meekly, feres you bear, autain it, and the it being the sum fera, feminine. Kai gaan o Kriton, ple meles aganaktein telikuton onta de telutan. For, O Criton. Now the palm melitas, plemeles is an adverb here. It means discordant or out of tune. It's got that melos root in here. So for, O Criton, literally I would be out of tune or discordant, here has the sense of inconsistent. So I would be, for I would, O Criton, be inconsistent, being of such an age, aganactane, from aganactio, to be annoyed or irritated, if, or upset, if it was necessary, now, understand for me, telutan, infinitive, to die. So I would be inconsistent, O Criton, being of such an age, if I were upset that it was necessary for me now to die. You often translate a as that in Greek. Kai and Crito replies, Kai aloi o Socrates, telikutoi en toi autais sum ferais haliskontai, al uden autus epiluatai he helakia tome uki agonakten te paruse tuke. But others, O Socrates, telikutai, of the same age, so others of the same age, haliskontai. Now, haliskonai is used as a passive for hyreo. Hyreo is to take, and then instead of using a passive form, they use the verb haliskonai, are caught, are taken, in such circumstances. For there are others who are taken in such circumstances of the same age, but helakia, the age, literally epiluatai, does not, literally releases them not at all. So does not release them, does not set them free, and then we get the tome plus infinitive with another uki. So the me here is after this epiluatai, to release them from not being upset at their present fate. So we have this redundant may here, which we translate as from after verbs of preventing. So their age does not prevent them at all from being not upset at their present from being upset at their present fate. Socrates says, Esti tauta, kai tite huto proe affixai. Well, that these things are. So that's just the way it is. But why thus, why so early have you come? And then don't forget the day here. So why, in fact, have you come so early? Angelian o Socrates, pheron kalipan, usoi hos emoi phinatai, al emoi kai tois sois epitedaios passin kai kalipan kai berean, hen ego hos emodoke, en tois barutatan en enkaimi. O Socrates, understand I come bearing a difficult message, a difficult report, a difficult message. Not for you, as it appears to me, so it doesn't seem that it's going to worry you very much, but for me and for all your epitedaios, for all your friends, literally those who are favourable. So to all your friends, a report, understand, which is both difficult and heavy and harsh, and a report which I, hos emoi.co, literally as I seem to me, So in other words, as I think. So report which, so I think, I would bear, this is optative from Pharaoh, which I would, in the entois. So the entois is referring to the friends. So report which I, so I think, among them, that is among your friends, I would bear barutata most harshly or most painfully. It's a rather difficult bit there. So a message which I among them all, I think, would bear most heavily. Tina tauten e toploion affecti ek dulu, hu de afficominon tethanain me. And now this is feminine agreeing with this idea of message, the angelion. What is this message? And we get a question here. So A, or has the boat arrived, perfect here, from Delos. Now the who with the affecomenu is a genitive absolute. Which having arrived, so which when it arrives, it is necessary for me, tethnana infinitive, to die. Utoi de affecti, aladoken men moi hex etemeran ek horn, apengelus sinhekon testines aposuniu, kai catalipontes eke tuto. So it's a strong negative here. So utoi de, no, it certainly hasn't arrived, but it seems to me that it will come, temeron today, temeron for semeron, from which things, so this is like because, as a result of those things which certain men, having come from Sunion and having left it, that is the ship there, they report. So it's as a result of the reports I've had from certain men having come from Sunion and having left the ship there. Delon un ek tuton, and then we get tone angelon in brackets, hoti hex etemeron. Kainanke de es arion estai, O Socrates, ton bion se telutan. And it is clear from these, and then in brackets from these messengers, that it will come today, and day it is necessary indeed that it will be on the morrow, O Socrates, for you to make an end of your life. And that is the end of the first chapter, the first section of Crito.